I was born in a swamp, I grew up in a swamp, and I'll be damned if I don't die in a swamp. What's up, everyone? It's me, Emma, the heavy metal lawyer. Haven't hit y'all with one of my This is the Best Year for X genre videos in a bit, and y'all seem to like those. So let's talk about 1996, the best year for sludge metal. This was my hardest pick yet for best year, particularly because of the two adjacent years, 1995 and 1997. I mean, in 1997, Red Devils and Purple Ringers by Shroom was released. So for that reason alone, a decent argument could be made for 1997. That being said, 1996 saw the release of more classic albums for the genre than any other year I could find, and especially saw them around the world, which just makes for a more interesting video. So we are going with 1996. And before I get into why this year was so great for sludge metal, let's talk about what sludge metal is and isn't. Sludge metal, like virtually every other kind of metal at this point, has been blended with other genres, giving us everything from the hardcore adjacent sludge metal of Eyehategod to the groove metal adjacent sludge metal of Down to the whatever the hell Boris is. Because sludge metal is so often crossed over with other genres, a popular misconception has arisen that if it is slow and heavy, it is sludge metal. That's wrong. Cathedral is slow and heavy, but I would not call them sludge metal. To be sludge metal, you need country-fried blues riffs drowned in fuzz pedal effects. It needs to sound like music that would be played at a biker's roadhouse in hell. All right, so let's get into it. I was first drawn to this year because it's the year that my favorite classic sludge metal album came out, Dopesick by Eyehategod. It has my all-time favorite sludge metal riff on the track Dixie Whiskey. Simple, bluesy, rhythmic, and perfect for screaming over. Coming off the success of their great album Take As Needed for Pain, Dopesick saw Eyehategod reach a height of creativity as well as infamy for the chaotic and violent recording sessions. Like any band story, take it with a grain of salt, since I've heard multiple versions over the years, but vocalist Mike Williams allegedly wanted to record the sound of shattering glass for the intro to the album, and while doing so cut his hand open and started bleeding all over the studio, and then either Williams or someone else in the band wrote things on the window glass in the blood like hell and death to pigs. This story and the stories of Mike Williams' struggles with drug addiction in general are a very important part of sludge metal beyond the music. Because the lyrics so frequently concern the pain of drug use, these stories legitimize the band to their fans, showing that for them it is not just an interesting subject for their songs, but real pain that they have personal experience with. Meanwhile, godfathers of the genre, Melvins, were breaking out of their box with their album Stag. With its sitar intro, Melvins immediately made a statement that this would not just be another sludge metal album, but that sitar transforming into one of the most monstrously heavy riffs of all time showed that the band wanted to both experiment and retain their metric ton of crushing weight. The album twists and turns can make you feel insane, with blaring trumpets one second and acoustic blues guitar the next. And it is not held up as sludge metal canon as much as their more straightforward albums, but in my opinion it should be, given how it paved the way for all the creative takes on the genre that we see today. Across the pond in the UK, Iron Monkey debuted with their self-titled album, which would be distributed by death metal purveyors Earache Records the following year. On the other island of Japan, a band that took its name from a Melvins song, Boris, released their first album, Eyehategod. Now, the band says Eyehategod is actually a single, not an album, but sorry, nothing over an hour long is a single to me, even if it is just one song. As the single hour-long song suggests, Boris stretched the sludge metal genre to its limits into drone metal, and has been sludge metal's most experimental force ever since. Returning to the US, Crowbar put out their fourth album, Broken Glass, with the classic track, Nothing More. Grief put out their second full-length, Miserably Ever After. And the scene was full of great split releases, like Another Day in the Lost Lives of, with Buzz Oven and Sour Vein, and Damage 3/Soulflower by Cavity and Daisy Cutter. Acid Bath released their second and last album, Pagan Terrorism Tactics, which some consider to be even superior to When the Kite String Pops, especially because of how steeped in Louisianan culture it is, with tracks like Diab Soule. And this is why I love 1996 so much for this genre. It was both the point at which the genre was no longer confined to Louisiana and no longer limited musically to a particular style, but at the same time still rooted enough to be a discrete scene before the term sludge metal started to become so overused as to not really mean anything. But what do you think the best year for sludge metal was? Please let me know in the comments, and like and subscribe for more videos on music about drug addiction and Southern Gothic horror.